After so many years, hounded by hatred and trapped by fear, I'm in a box. I've got no place to go. If I follow my mind, I know I slaughter my own. Help me, I'm the prisoner. Won't you hear my plea? I need somebody, yeah, to listen to me. I beg you, brothers and sisters, I'm counting on you, yeah.
Peace and love, family. Welcome to the NEPPC show, the Northeast Political Prisoner Coalition. I'm Brother Frank, and just want to say Habari Ghani, which is what is the news? The reply today, being the sixth sacred principle, is KUUMBA, creativity. For those who are unaware, KUUMBA is to do always as much as we can in the way we can in order to leave our community more beautiful and beneficial than we inherited it. So that means we have a responsibility. That means we all have a duty to perform. And so today, let's talk about what does that mean. First and foremost, we want to offer our condolences to the family, to our family, as we recognize the passing of our beloved brother, lifetime revolutionary, Bilal Sunni Ali. Bilal Sunni Ali, he spent his life, right, fighting for the advancement of his people, fighting for self-determination of his people, lifelong fighter for Black liberation, a former member of the New York Black Panther Party, and an accomplished musician, playing with Gil Scott-Heron. That's what this brother had posted on Facebook. And when I read it, I thought about it, about what it meant, and I thought that that was most accurate. Me and my brother Abdul Haq Islam, we had the brother on our podcast, and we were talking about Imam Jamil Al-Amin. He gave us information on the brother. He said that the Innocent Project had picked up his case, and that meant a lot to us for him to making the time out. So please go to the NEPPC podcast and check out that episode. He explains his life and what he was involved in. This book that I always recommend people to have it. It's An American Family, the Shakors and the Nation They Created by Santi Elijah Holly. And in his book on page 30, the chapter is Black Power, and it says about Sunni, about Bilal Sunni Ali. It says that raised in the Bronx, Sunni Ali was a gifted young musician, and as a teenager, he played flute with the Sankor Nubian Cultural Workshop, based out of the Lincoln Housing Project on Harlem's 135th Street, founded in the late 1950s by Mary Ann Samad, a former member of the Garvey's UNIA. Sankor hosted concerts, readings, weddings, and fashion shows, using the arts to teach African culture. The emerging trend of Black New Yorkers donning African fashion can be traced to Sankor and Samad, who sold many of the clothes herself. We took the African clothing that we saw and we styled it. This Samad said in an interview with Jamaica Journal. We started the Abuba for the women and created the dashiki for the men in 1958. It was like giving royalty to the Black men. So that was the brother. Also, it said that Lumumba, Sunni Ali, and others also met regularly at Saladin. Saladin was their educator. He was their teacher. home to continue their studies in Marxism, Leninism, and the Pan-Africanist writings of Kwame Nkrumah and Patrice Lumumba. So here we get an idea of Bilal Sunni Ali's life, what he was about, and his commitment to freeing his people, for the liberation of his people, for their right to be self-determined. So let's honor him in practice. Let's continue to fight for our people's self-determination. Let's get in where we're comfortable. This ending of this year, it brought about some uncomfortable situation on December 9th. The current martyr or the current victim of white supremacy or state violence, Robert Brooks. He was killed because of what had happened at Marcy Correctional Facility by these white correctional officers. It happened December 9th. And because of his beatings, he was murdered. He died. And that should be alarming to us. Organizers organized rallies, protests, and marches. One in particular was at the governor's office. From what I've researched and read, it's saying that some disciplinary action was going to happen. As I did my research, I came across the fact that this is 4 years after 4 years after George Floyd, after George Floyd. So we have to ask ourselves the question, why does this continue to happen? Did they not understand how serious we are taking this? What do we have to do? And that's why creativity is so important. We as organizers, we as professional revolutionaries have to look at what we've been trying, continue to do what we've been doing, but add on to it, intensify our resistance, intensify our ability to organize people. We cannot accept what's been going on as something that's normal. We cannot be comfortable with what we are seeing, because if we don't do as much as we can at this particular time, then, as I've said before, that another generation will have to deal with this. So we have to stand up. We have to fight. We have to be like Bilal Sunni Ali and be continuous in our effort to free our people, to liberate our people, to make sure that our self-determination is protected. Bilal Sunni Ali, being a former political prisoner, understood that, he had the responsibility to free political prisoners. And that's why it meant so much when he did come on our podcast and talk to us about Imam Jalil Al-Amin, and tell us what was going on with that campaign. And just the fact that even at that time, he still had health issues, but he did not use that as an excuse for him not to be involved. So that inspired me to raise a question about, I have restrictions, I have challenges, I have obstacles that are in my path, but yet I still have a responsibility. I still have to be very serious about what needs to be done. I have to commit myself to doing the most I can, and taking that role very seriously, spreading the message wherever I can, and building stronger allies, right? There are people in different organizations that you can link up with, and decide that you can exchange resources, be very creative in what needs to be done, and realize that you and those people have that responsibility to do so, because there are way too many people being killed who don't deserve to die, who deserve to have a great life. So, as we celebrate this day in Kwanzaa, one thing that we can do regarding creativity is to do artwork, to talk about our struggle, our history. And, I'm always advocating to raise awareness of our political prisoners. So I challenge you, or give you a assignment, to write to a political prisoner today. That is creativity. Draw a painting. If you're a painter, do a painting for a political prisoner. Utilize your talents. If you're an author, write an article on a political prisoner. That is expression of creativity. Today, my expression is constructing this podcast, challenge myself to do more. And if you are somebody who can help out, I can definitely utilize your talents. Because one thing I would like to do is add more videos to the podcast. So when I'm speaking on a particular topic, I could let the video demonstrate the point, and therefore the point can be be emphasized even more. Um, it's important to identify George Floyd as being lynched, to identify Robert Brooks as being lynched, because that's exactly what it is. And we can't ignore that, because there was a time in our history in this country where they identified it as Red Summer. I believe it, if I'm not mistaken, it was the 60s. Please feel free to correct me, and I'll definitely make sure it's corrected on an upcoming episode. But this time was called a Red Summer, and it was because of the amount of lynchings that were going on. So we have to look at if that happened during that time, and this is happening during this time. So you have George Floyd, then you have Robert Brooks, and it's only 4 years. We got to ask ourselves what's going on. Why are these things continuing to happen? So you had the killer of George Floyd. He got prison time, right? So now the killers of Robert Brooks, they supposed to be met with disciplinary action. To my understanding, that they were fired. But is that enough, right? We got to ask ourselves, how do we prevent what happened from happening again? And that's why, one thing about the political prisoner work is that we're in constant contact with our political prisoners. It's bigger than me. It's other organizations doing this work. So they are in contact with the family. They are made aware of what's happening. So we on this side of what Veron Zabaz called hell, knows what we can do, know what we can offer. So we realize that there is something that we can do. So before this episode comes to a close, I just want to provide some contact information. So as you celebrate KUUMBA this day in Kwanzaa, we want to provide you with some addresses so you can write to a political prisoner. This is the address of Joy Powell. Please let Joy Powell know that you received the address from this podcast, from the show. So she know that she have people behind her, because political prisoners do get stressed out, do fight depression, and we have to make sure that they know that there are people out there doing the work to bring them home, doing the work to make sure that they're not forgotten. For those of you who are interested in contacting the Northeast Political Prisoner, our contact information is the Northeast Political Prisoner Coalition, P.O. Box 380122, Brooklyn, New York 11238. This is Kamal Siddiqui's contact information. He'll love to hear from you. And please, if you write to him and is a hesitancy of him responding, please let me know. I could relay the message to his daughter, just so she knows, and the rest of his support system knows, so we can build a strong community outside of prison, because I think that that's one of the things that leads to prisoners being killed, right? Is because the behavior of the correctional officers is not consistently monitored. So now when you have the lynching that you had with Robert Brooks, now it's looked like it's something that doesn't happen regularly, right? It's happened, it's made aware because of the recording, because of the video, right? But just imagine if we're constantly in touch with those who are in prison, and we're made aware about what they're going through, and we make it our business to make sure that we stay in contact with them, to do our part, right? Because they should not be treated other than what they are, which are human beings, right? We have a right to human rights, but we got to fight for that. Nobody's going to give us anything. We have to demand it, and we have to organize behind our demands. That means today we do something, tomorrow we do something more, and the day after that, we even challenge ourselves to do more. And that's where we should be at as we approach 2025, as we decide that this is going to be a year that we're going to ask ourselves, how much are we doing? Are we doing enough? Because if we're not doing enough, then we expect better. We expect better days. You know, so I raised that to let you know that the Northeast Political Prisoner Coalition is always looking for participants, always looking for members, always looking for people who are very concerned about those who are in prison, our political prisoners, those who dared to stand up, dared to fight. We have a role, we have responsibility to bring them home, and we have to take that very seriously. Right? Political prisoners know we have a right to fight back. And I just know that every episode is important that we talk about the idea of a political prisoner. We have to be clear on what it is, and that's why it's consistent that we talk about a political prisoner. So now we know the importance of fighting for them. So the political prisoners is one who has made and who acts on a conscious political decision to change the present state of property relations. So that's one definition. I think that definition is very important and sharp. But anyway, you know, I'm going to end this episode a little shorter than before because of some schedule conflicts that occurred. So I apologize deeply, but consistency is important. So that's why, once again, I'm here. So you know the call, free them all. So 2025, let's free all our political prisoners. Don't let political prisoners die in prison. Peace.